climates and ventilation and all of that. But anyways, so I'd love to know where you guys are joining in from and what's the weather like where you are right now. So today's live stream is very appropriate for a January 2020. It's the start of the new decade, depending on if you think it's the start of the new decade or not. But let me mute that. But it's still the start of the new year. So there's that. So when typically the new year starts, everybody wants to make all these resolutions and goals. And I have kind of a different take on that. So what we're going to be discussing today is how to create sticky habits that are going to help you create consistent YouTube videos or any kind of videos on any kind of platform, just basically to get into the habit of creating videos, because we know that video creation is where it's at. Video marketing is, you know, a big deal. Everyone's wanting to get into video still. Every year is the year of video. And so we just really, really want to know that, you know, how can we get more consistent? How can we do better videos? How can we do more videos? How can we do more with videos? So yes. Okay. Hi, Andrew, joining in from LA. Dan Castro, Oklahoma, baby. Yeah. All right. Did you guys miss the intro? You did? You did? Okay, well, hopefully you'll be able to catch it either on the replay, because I don't think I'm repeating that. Insider jokes and all. But yeah. It is definitely cold here. I definitely do know, Humera. It is unusually cold. So not equipped for it, but making the best of it. All right, guys. So we're going to get into today's live stream, and I have a presentation for you. And we're going to go through that. We're going to be taking your questions as well. Let's get some things out of the way first. If you want to drop in questions, then there's a form link inside the description, so you can send in your questions there. Remember, they should be relevant to today's stream. So anything about creating better habits for 2020 would be relevant for today's stream, so you can do that. And also, I just want to let you know that everything that I mentioned in the presentation, if I say that there is something to download, then the link for that should be in the description, so you can go and check that out for all the downloadables that I mentioned today. All right, so let's get started. Hi, Inside the Lab, PC Tech, Royal Avira, Pro Player. I love dubbing, Dan Castro. Amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining. Be sure to like this live stream and share it out if you get value from it. Be sure to leave lots of comments. And of course, be sure to check out TubeBuddy, who are the kind hosts of this live stream, or rather I'm the host, but I'm on their channel. So we're both the hosts. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to share my screen, and we are going to load up this. So I'm using Zoom today, and I'm using that to live stream. I found it's a pretty good software, and my presentation is in Keynote. So let me know if you guys can see it all properly. Just gonna make sure it's loaded here. Should be running smoothly. Yep. All right, so let's get straight into this topic: how to form stickable habits to create consistent videos. And the number one thing that I want to know from you today in the chat is, what is one habit that you want to create for 2020? It could be something related to video making. It could be something related to your business. It could be a personal habit that you want to develop. Whatever, you know, big habit that you want to develop. What is that? Let me know in the chat. All right, and I will share some of my personal habits with you as well as video making habits, right? So a quick introduction. I have a YouTube channel, of course. I'm YouTube certified. I'm also a coach and a consultant and a speaker. And I talk about YouTube and video marketing. I have a channel called Be the Media. So you can find that, should be linked below in the description. And I also work as a channel partner with Entrepreneur, the magazine. And yes, Andrew has dubbed me the Queen of Purple, so I will hold that moniker close to my heart. And as you can see, my background is purple and my presentation is purple as well. All right, so let's get into this presentation. And the first question I want to ask you is, what is more useful? Setting good habits or setting realistic goals? put your answer down in the live chat. And this was a poll that I conducted across various social media. So this is one of the answers that I got from my YouTube community page. And 70% of people said that they feel that setting good habits is better than setting realistic goals. So are you part of that 70% or are you part of that 30% who believes in goal setting? Let me know, people. Let me know which one is more useful to you and what are you traditionally used to? Which part of this equation makes more sense for you? And of course, I'm going to give you my take on that. I'm going to let you know what is useful for me and obviously what is useful in this presentation as well. I'm just going to restart this to make sure I can see your answers. Comparison Cooking is saying habits. Farmhouse BC is saying realistic goals. Kesa is saying habits. Inside the Lab is saying I'm in the minority. Yes, Posh Cats Camping is saying good habits. Cicerella's World is saying realistic goals. All righty. Yana Vlog is saying good habits. I'm guessing the G is for good habits. 24/7 Stream is saying be realistic and have good habits doing it. And Formal Fantastic is saying goals can be reached without habits that will get you there. Both habits are hard to form without a goal. Okay, so you guys have some great ideas around this. So I'm going to approach this from the perspective of a New York Times bestseller. This is the book that we're going to be taking some ideas from today. It has been on the New York Times bestseller list for 8 months. It's called Atomic Habits, and it's by the author James Clear. Now, the book talks about a system to get 1% better every day. What does that mean? We're going to get right into that. How do you get better? How do you get 1% better every day to achieve tiny changes that would get you remarkable results? And another quote that James Clear often uses is that he says you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. So again, what does that mean? And how can we interpret that to make better videos? Why do tiny changes make a big difference? And I've got a really, really cool example for you. It's something from the book, but I've added my own take to it, as you'll see along this presentation. Everything is from the book, but I've added my own little tweaks and things to make this more relevant for YouTube creators. And then we're going to get into the practical side of this presentation, which is we're going to talk about the 4 laws of habit formation and how to apply them to consistent video making. So it's jam-packed with value. Give me a thumbs up if you are liking what I'm going to be talking about coming up. And if you like the direction that we're headed in, give me a thumbs up in the live chat. All right. I'm also going to just drop in here that the link to get the book is in the description as well. So you can go check it out, read a couple of pages, read the reviews, and so on. So you can do that as well. It's a book that I got stuck into in December. And normally I speed read books, like I just, go really fast. But this one I read cover to cover, every single page, then went back and went over it with a highlighter. Like I am so not a highlighter person. Who around here reads books with highlighters? Raise your hand. Not me. That was not me, but with this book, I became the person who read the book with a highlighter, marking important passages and like mulling over ideas in my head. So obviously it had a big impact on me. All right. So, all right, you guys are exploding inside the live chat, huh? All right, let's start off with the 1% rule. So what is the 1% rule of habit creation? And I have a really, really cool example for you here. So let's say that you are the pilot of a plane and you're taking off from Los Angeles and you're headed towards New York. All good so far. If you adjust your heading by about 3.5 degrees to the south. So you point the nose of the airplane just a little bit to the south, just 3.5 degrees, you're going to end up in Washington, D.C. hundreds of miles away from New York City. So the lesson here is that a small change over a large distance or over a large period of time, in our case, can cause a complete shift in the kind of results that you get. And what I love about this analogy is that it also shows you that depending on where you're headed, you can set the goal to get there, but the systems that you build and the actual things that you do, like for example, for the pilot, is the navigation system, it's the heading, it's making sure that you're on track constantly, is what is actually going to get you to that goal. So if the goal is to get to New York and you are in Los Angeles right now, your systems, your navigation systems, and your 1% changes are going to make a big difference on the goal that you want to achieve. Now, what I really, so I've added something to this example. So this example is directly from the book, but I've added something here, which I think is also pretty important for us as video creators, which is the point of inflection. So to me, the point of inflection is the point where these 1% changes start to suddenly make sense. And this goes both for good habits as well as for bad habits. So let's say you're trying to lose weight. You go to the gym every day, you haven't lost any weight the first day, you haven't lost any weight the second day, you haven't lost weight the third day. But maybe by the 14th day or maybe by the 13th day, you start to see some changes. Maybe you feel your muscles are getting more toned. Maybe somebody remarks, hey, you look like you've lost weight around your face area or something, right? So the point of inflection is where those little changes, those 1% changes, start to have results. And at that point, you realize, well, hey, this could be working. Or if you're doing like a bad habit, let's say you are, you're saying that, oh, you know what, if I eat dessert, like ice cream every day, once a day, it's fine. Oh, well, I had it a couple of times this week. Oh yeah, in the month I've had it like every other day, whatever. There's going to be a point where you're going to step on the scale and you're going to realize, oh, I think I can't say the word, but OS, I've gained a couple of extra pounds here. So, the point of inflection is the point when you realize whether your habits are having the desired change or whether your habits are getting you closer to your goal or not. So I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind. And I always like to say that we're building YouTube channels. It's a long-term game. We're in it for the long haul. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you do want to stay focused on the goal, but you do want to course correct as you go there. And part of the 4 laws that we're going to discuss today are things that you could course correct along the way. So, yes. Whew. That was a lot of intro. Okay, now let's get into what happens when you are doing these 1% changes. So if you get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll be 37% better by the end of 2020. Or 2020, depending on how you say it. So I want to give you some video making examples of what that could look like. So 1 extra video a month means 12 more opportunities to be discovered in the year. So let's say you're creating weekly videos, but you say, you know what, I'm just going to do that a little bit extra. I'm going to put in that 1% extra effort, and I'm going to do 1 more video a month. And that means maybe you could have 12 more opportunities to have your video rank number 1, maybe 12 more opportunities to go viral, maybe 12 more opportunities to land brand deals, maybe 12 more opportunities to do a collab with somebody. Who knows, right? That's just giving yourself better odds, right? That's all that it's doing. And so really that's what 1% could look like. Here's another example. 1 more hour spent on video SEO could result in a number 1 ranking on Google. So that could be something that you would want to aim for. And here's what it might look like. So you might go to TubeBuddy and you might search, as I did, for a keyword called, I wanted to rank for YouTube niches. And so I saw that according to TubeBuddy's Keyword Explorer tool, YouTube niches had 462,000 videos in the search results. And yes, it had 7,600 people looking for it as well. But that was a lot of results to compete with. 462,000 for a new channel or a beginner channel, you know, is quite a lot. And so then I spent that 1 hour on video SEO and research and came up with a better keyword called Best YouTube Niches 2019. Now, initially you might think, how is it better? Because it's only got 240 monthly searches happening. That circle thing down below there. But it's less competitive. It's got only 162,000 video results for that, right? So I'm thinking, okay, let's go ahead and create this video. And what happened was that I rank #1 for the term YouTube niches, just beating video influencers over there. Great guys, Sean and Benji, but it was tough competition, right? But by making sure that I spent that 1 extra hour on doing that video SEO research and finding a keyword that my channel could rank for, now I'm ranking for the bigger keyword, YouTube niches, and I've got not 1 but 2 videos ranking for that keyword. So that is the power of incremental results, really. Yes. All right, another example. So example #3 is 1 more minute spent optimizing thumbnails could lead to a higher CTR, a higher click-through rate. And so that's exactly what I did. Use TubeBuddy's A/B testing tool to pit 2 thumbnails against each other. And TubeBuddy said that, hey, the variant, the new version is performing 1% better than the original, almost 1% better than the original. So over time, that 1% is going to compound and it's going to lead to a lot more views and a lot more click-throughs coming in. So those are some examples of how you can use, you know, the 1% rule in your video creation to get better results than you would have normally. Now, for those of you who chose goals over habits, here's some things that you want to consider. Goals are great and habits are great as well. So how do they work in tandem together? So keep in mind that whether you're succeeding or not, you could have the same goals as somebody else. So winners and losers have the same goal. Let's say everybody sets a goal, I'm going to get 100,000 YouTube subscribers this year, right? Some people are going to reach that. Some people are not going to reach that. What's going to be the differentiating factor? It's going to be your systems or the habits that you create and follow, right? Achieving a goal is a momentary change. You've achieved the goal and then what? You're like, okay, now what do I do? And goals don't always lead to happiness, because I find that the journey, learning to love the journey, is what it's all about, right? If you are frustrated and annoyed and like killing yourself trying to do this and just really overwhelmed with the entire process, you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to enjoy your work. And then what's the point of being your own boss and having your own channel and running your own business if you're not enjoying the journey? So I find that having systems and routines and habits is a better way to get you there. And goals are at odds with long-term progress. So let's say you reach that goal of, let's say, 10,000 subscribers, and then what? Right? So you want to have a long-term progress. A lot of people, they set the goal to, let's say, lose 100 pounds. And then once they've lost that weight, they get back to their bad habits and start binge eating again. So you don't want that to happen. You don't want goals to be the end of your journey. You want to create lifelong habits that will keep you going, keep you motivated. And I think that motivation is a little bit overrated. Having systems in place and having routines is better, because then you're more likely to do that even when you don't feel like it. And so many of us, we wake up and we're like, oh, we don't feel like doing this work today. But if you have set up the habits, which I'm going to talk about later in the presentation, then you will do it whether you feel like it or not. So that's what it's all about. I need to lose 100 pounds. How did you know? Yes, I know. I can see it through the camera. All right. So habits start with your identity. So here's a quick example. 2 people were asked, why are you not smoking? One person said, well, I'm trying to quit. And the other person said, I'm not a smoker. Right? So when he identified himself as being a non-smoker, that speaks to a greater why for not doing the action, because that's not your identity, right? So here's some other identity markers that you could employ to build better habits. You could say, I quit smoking because I'm not a smoker. You could say, I run because I'm a runner. Like, not because I'm trying to win a marathon, but because I'm a runner. That's what I do. I'm a great parent as your identity because I spend time with my kids, right? So you're not questioning or feeling mom guilt or whatever. Am I a good parent or not? Like, you are, because you're spending time. I exercise because I'm health conscious, not that because I need to fit into XYZ clothes or whatever, but because this is my lifestyle, because I believe in better choices for what I put in my body, right? So that's your identity. And that is a more stronger reason for sticking with habits than just a short-term goal is. And so for YouTube creators, maybe for me, the goal is I make videos because I'm a business owner. Maybe for you, it could be I make videos because I'm a YouTuber, or I make videos because I'm a YouTube creator, right? So you wanna marry goals to your identity. So what is your identity? Your identity is who you are, who you believe you are, who you believe you can become. Own that so that the habits arise as the process. So it's, well, I am this, I am a writer, so I'm going to write every day, right? So you're less trying to get motivated, and you're more trying to say, well, this is who I am, so therefore these are the habits I should be developing. So you want to approach this from a more identity based perspective. I create videos because I'm a film director. Yes, Andrew, exactly like that. All right, guys. So as we get into this, I want to talk about the habit loop. And we're going to be using some of these ideas to actually get practical examples. So all habits have 4 things that go into them. There's the cue, there's the craving, there's the response, and there's the reward. No matter what habit in the world you're trying to develop, it's going to have these 4 characteristics. What do they look like? So the cue could be that you wake up. The craving is you want to feel alert. The response is you drink a cup of coffee. And so the reward is that you satisfy your craving and you associate coffee with feeling alert. So let's see, what could that look like for a YouTube video creator? So you watch a video, let's say, that inspires you, perhaps an educational video on the TubeBuddy channel, and you're like, this is really inspirational. And you say, well, I want to do videos and I want more views from my own channel. So that's your craving. So in response, you make a video, and then your reward is that you satisfy your craving and associate making a video with getting more views, right? So that is the habit loop that every single habit follows. Every single habit has a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. Okay. Danny is saying this wasn't the direction I was expecting from this video. This is much better. Woohoo! Thank you, Danny. And it's going to get better. It's going to get even better. I'm going to take it up a level, a couple of slides in. So hang in there. Hang in there, guys. All right. So the 4 laws of creating sticky habits. So we discussed cue, craving, response, and reward. So now the 4 laws are to make the cue obvious. That is the first law. The second law is make the craving attractive. The third law is make the response easy. And the 4th law is make the reward satisfying. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are doing these 4 things. We're making the cues obvious, we're making the craving attractive, we're making the response easy, and we are making the reward satisfying. And I'm going to be giving you some very, very practical examples of how to make things obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. But before I do that, I have 2 things that I want to tell you. The first thing that I want to tell you is that did you know that TubeBuddy has a Women of YouTube podcast? In fact, let me stop screen sharing for just a second and get back here. So TubeBuddy has a Women of YouTube podcast, which you should listen to whether you are a female YouTube creator or not, because I find that the female perspective on YouTube is very cool, very different, very interesting. And there's a lot of things, especially if you're a women entrepreneur, you should be tuned in. So where can you find this podcast? in today's video description. So you want to go there and you can watch it on your favorite podcast player. And I also want to let you know that I will be on the podcast in the next, I think it's the next episode. It's coming up on January 21st. So you want to go and listen to the previous episodes. There have been some great people on this podcast already, some great women entrepreneurs, great women YouTubers. And I find this thread often runs on Twitter where give me some examples of like great female video creators on YouTube. And I think that if you go and listen to some of them on the podcast, you'll find so many great women who are video marketing experts, video creators who are building their brands using YouTube. So you're going to get a lot of inspiration from the podcast. It is hosted by Desiree Martinez. Shout out to Desiree. And she's doing an amazing job with her own YouTube channel and brand. And of course, she is the host of TubeBuddy's Women of YouTube podcast. Go and give that a listen. Okay, the second thing I want to do is I want to ask you a question at this point. So we're kind of halfway into the presentation at this point, and I want to ask you what has been the most valuable thing for you so far. So we've talked about the habit loop. We've talked about the 4 laws, at least in theory. We've talked about the 1% changes that you could be making in your YouTube channel. And I gave you some examples. We talked about the point of inflection. So we talked about all of these things. And I want to know what has been valuable for you so far. Let me know in the chat as I take some hydration, hydration break. Oh yeah, and no spamming in the chat, please. All right, time for me to check in with the comments. All of this, let me show you something is saying all of this. That is good to know. That is good to know. But what has 1% changes? Comparison Cooking is saying 1% changes because that is very achievable. Right? It's like instead of this big, massive goal, you just have to get better like a little bit every day. I love that. Love that. Picture It Positive is saying subscribe to the podcast. Yay, go for you. Awesome. Posh Cats Camping is saying most valuable has been the YouTube community itself. For sure. I love this community. I think it's one of the best communities out there. Awesome. And Comparison Cooking is saying, I spent a ton of time on SEO. Excellent. I do too. Dan Castro is saying 1%, definitely. Lift, Run, Repeat is saying came late and 5 seconds in, the identity change struck me, right? That was my aha moment in the book as well. The book I'm referring to is this, by the way, Atomic Habits. And that's the book that I've taken the ideas from for today's live stream, adapted it for YouTube creators. But yeah, that's where all of this comes from. And Andrew wants to remind you guys, if you have a question for me with regards to video making or habit creation, put it down in the form that's linked in the description. All right, so some really, really good things you guys are taking away from this so far. Excellent, excellent. All righty, so I'm going to continue with the presentation. Share the presentation again with you guys. Here we go. Alrighty. So let's refresh. So the habit loop is cue, craving, response, and reward. So you want to make the cues obvious. You want to make the craving attractive. You want to make the response easy, and you want to make the reward satisfying. So let's get into some real tactical maneuvers here on how can we do that? How can we start 2020 in a better way and having better routines and better systems and better habits so we don't get derailed when motivation leaves, which is going to happen at the end of January, you guys. You're going to be like, I'm sick of this already. I can't do this. And other things will interfere. Things happen, life happens, and you sort of fall off the wagon. But remember, the number one rule is to get back on as soon as you can. It's fine to fall off. Everybody does. I got sick, didn't create videos for a month. The important thing is get back on. So what if you didn't do it this week? Do it next week, right? So the important thing is to get back on track. So let's get into the first law. So the 4 laws are, well, I just discussed the 4 laws. So let's get into the first law. So the first law is make the cue obvious. What does that look like? Here are some examples. The term that James Clear uses in the book is called habit stacking. And it means that you are setting up cues depending on what your day looks like. So let's say you wake up and you say that my cue is going to be, I will do my hair and makeup. And when you do your hair and makeup, you're going to make a video because you feel, I just got ready for this, right? Now, here's the psychology behind this. And I don't know, maybe it applies to women more than men. I don't know, but I'm sure grooming plays some part in everybody's routine, right? So for me, because I work from home, and if I get up and I just move to my office and I just start work, I haven't washed my face or, showered or changed my clothes, I'm definitely not in any frame of mind to create videos, right? But the minute I make the effort to do my hair, put on some makeup, get dressed, do all the things, take a shower, have breakfast, whatever that looks like, right? But the minute I do my hair and makeup, I am so much closer to making a video because that is the catalyst for me. It's like once I'm ready, like it's just a matter of switching on the camera at that point for me. So really, it's about finding a cue that you can use, something that would be a catalyst, will make the next step a little bit easier. So you're already doing different things in a day. You're already stacking different habits. Are they good habits or bad habits? You want to, look at that. And you're like, okay, when you wake up, what is the next thing you do, right? And then if you add in a little bit of a cue at that point, which makes it easier to create videos, you are more likely to actually create that video. So let's say your video creation day is every Tuesday, right? So you want to make sure on Tuesdays you do your hair and makeup in the morning or one day prior. Like, I don't know about you guys, but as a woman, second day hair is better than first day hair. So I like to take a shower and I like to wash my hair the day before I'm going to be filming so that I know that there can be no flyaways and it's not going to be as unruly and it's going to be easier to control on the second day. And so whenever I'm planning a video shoot, I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to wash my hair the day before. And once that's done, I'm more ready the next day to film my video. So second day hair, you guys, it's the little things. I'm telling you, it's the little things. Andrew saying, once I do my hair and shave, I will make a video. Yes. So really, you've got to find what your trigger is going to be. So let me give you another example of making the cue obvious. I will write 3 things to say. Then I'm going to turn on the phone and I will record those 3 things. For a lot of people, they're like, okay, well, I don't know what to say today, or I don't know what topic to create a video on, or I don't know what I'm going to say when I actually turn the camera on. And so if you trigger writing what you're going to be talking about, and I say 3 things because 3 is really easy to do, and it also makes for a substantial video. So if you write about 3 things that you're going to talk about in this video. So I'll give you a quick example. I made an IGTV video yesterday, and I wrote down 3 things that I was going to talk about in that video. And that video was actually promoting this particular live stream, right? So I said, I'm going to talk about the 1% rule. I'm going to talk about the 4 laws of habit creation, and I'm going to talk about the book. Right? So those are the 3 things I'm going to talk about. And then it became really easy to just turn on my phone and talk about those 3 things because I formulated that plan, written it down. So that could be the trigger. So you got to find what your trigger is and what your catalyst for getting that habit going is going to look like. So every time you write those 3 things down, you are more ready to creating a video. Okay, one more example. I will find 1 keyword phrase with the potential to rank. I will study the competition for that keyword and I will make a video targeting that keyword. So as soon as you do that first step, finding that one keyword phrase, you are so much more closer to making that video. If you haven't done that, then you're like, well, I don't know if this video is going to perform. And if it doesn't perform, then what's the point? Oh, you know what? Let me just delay this until I have a better idea. And, you're just going to fall off the wagon and you're going to be like, yeah, I'm not ready to do this right now. So to get out of that, you want to make sure that you do that keyword research, you find that one phrase. And once you find it, you're going to be so much more willing and motivated to make that video because you're going to be excited to see, well, can I get this to rank? Like it's a personal challenge, right? Can I get this to rank? And I find that that's really, really good. Okay, so I'm like reading your comments here at the same time. So yeah, so that is a way to make the cue really, really obvious. And for me, one of the biggest cues was creating my video content plan. I mean, just look at what happened. I was not creating videos consistently. And as soon as I created my video content plan, it made me feel prepared every month. So inside my video content plan, I talk about, I write down the keyword I'm going to target. I write down what its competitor search volume is. I write down what tags I'm going to use. I write down the description, which is keyword research description. I write down what the thumbnail is going to look like. I write down what my call to action is going to be, what kind of info cards I want to have in there, what kind of end screen elements I want to have in there. I plan it all out. Once it's all planned out, I am like 99% there to making that video. And you can see the result of that planning. Like, look how consistent I got, and my results are showing that. Like, that consistency is obviously paying off because my channel took off in January 2017 once I got consistent. And it all was because of that first cue that I created, which is to fill out my video content plan. And you can actually download my video content plan for free. The link is in the description. And it's an Excel sheet, or rather it's a Google spreadsheet that you can customize and use. And it's been super helpful for me. And I hope that it's going to be helpful for you as well. So that was my examples to how you could make the cue obvious. Let me know if you have any questions around that, if you liked it, if you enjoyed it, and if you have some your own cues to offer, like what could be some cue that you could set up to make video creation obvious for you. I mean, one thing I'm thinking of, maybe have your camera set up, never take it down, always have a room ready where you just step in and film. Those could be some kind of cues that you could set up. All right, let's move on to law number 2, which is to make the craving attractive, sexy. All right, so what does that look like? So I have an example here for you. One way of making something attractive is to do what everyone around you is doing, because that makes you feel like you're with the in crowd. Join a culture where your desired behavior is the norm. I'm actually going to go a step back and give you a story as we get into this. So in the book, there's an example of a man who wanted his children to become expert chess players. So he had 3 girls back in the 1920s or 1930s. He had 3 girls, and all 3 girls were taught how to play chess from a very early age. So as they're growing up, they were homeschooled, and chess was the norm in their house. Everyone played, everyone challenged each other, everyone was great at it. It was a fun activity for them. That was their normal, right? It's like some other kid growing up in a non-chess environment would think, oh, wow, like a 4-year-old playing chess, that's amazing, right? But for them, it was just like, yeah, that's the normal, right? So they all went on to become champions in their field. So they all 3 girls went on to win national and international chess championships. So how does it relate to making the craving attractive? So when you are surrounded by people where what you want to do is the normal for them. So when you surround yourself with people who are all creating videos, then it becomes a new normal for you. So you don't want to put yourself in an environment of isolation where making videos or vlogging your life is everybody's going to look at you like, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Why would anyone watch this? You don't want to be in that negative, toxic, suspicious environment, right? You want to put yourself in the environment where your desired behavior is the norm, such as the TubeBuddy community, right? Everybody's here. We're all making videos. We all learn from each other. Another environment you could join is one of my Facebook groups. So you could say that I'll join a Facebook group where business owners share their latest video every week. So I could be one of them and share my link too. And so every Saturday I have a thread running where everyone shares their latest video. And the rule is that you can only share if you've commented on somebody else's video before you. So you got to go to their YouTube channel, like it, and comment on it, something valuable if you found value from it, and then you can share your video. So it's all about, joining a culture where you're encouraging other video creators as well. So yes. So that's something you could do. And another thing you could do is to reframe your habits to highlight benefits versus drawbacks. So I think this is really important in terms of a mindset shift that you could do to make your habits look more attractive. And so some examples of this could be, instead of thinking I have to make a video today, first of all, I have to make a video today is such a, oh my God, it's like you're being forced to or something. You don't have to do anything, right? So think, I get to help someone who may be struggling with depression, weight loss, financial planning, whatever it is that you help people with. You want to make sure that you tie in your video making to that bigger why, right? Another example could be, instead of thinking I can't seem to increase subscribers, think perhaps, well, I can answer more burning questions to get more subscribers. Like find a way, like, instead of an excuse, right? Find a way, solve the problem. Instead of thinking I'll never be monetized at this rate, think I'll add in a live stream every week to get that watch time to 4,000 hours, right? So reframe the habit. So if the habit that you're trying to create is, I want to create a video every week, but it's not getting me to 4,000 hours, maybe adding a live stream is going to get me there, right? So you want to reframe your habits to highlight the benefits versus the drawbacks. No, Ike, I don't agree with you that it's a first world problem. I think it's pretty much a worldwide problem because, as you know, I'm in Asia and I'm in a developing country. And yes, it is my problem. Oh, I got to make a video today and I've got to reframe that and think, no, like I get to do this. I am privileged to do this. So, yeah. All right, let's move on to law number 3, make the response easy. Okay, so I think this is probably the toughest thing for most of us to do, is to make video creation easy. So I've got some ideas for you on how you could just make it easier on yourself to create more videos, to create better videos, to get started with videos. All right, so let's get into those ideas. So the first one is invoke the law of least effort. I love this one because it speaks to the lazy in me. If you can't make a YouTube video, make a Facebook video, because that's generally easier for people to do, because YouTube has a lot of moving parts and, SEO to learn and all this stuff. And Facebook is just like click a button and you're on live. If you can't make a Facebook video, make an Instagram video, even easier. 60 seconds, go. If you can't make an Instagram video, make an IG story, because it's going to disappear in 24 hours. So if you're like fearful of making videos, that's a great way to start. If you can't make an IG story, make a video using your webcam or phone, but don't publish it, which was me when I first started. I started on Periscope, made a few videos. Thankfully, not many people saw them because they were practice runs for me. And I got comfortable on camera. And then the first couple of YouTube videos I make, they're still on my channel, but nobody can see them. I never actually made them public. So invoke the law of least effort and just get started, get something done. Get into the habit of doing a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the best thing you've ever created, but start somewhere. So that's where we all start from. The other way to make video creation easier is aim to just show up. So you could be thinking, well, I don't have time to make a full YouTube video, so maybe just create a short video story today. like whatever social media channel you can do that on, right? Or you could be like, I'm not feeling well today or whatever. I can't show my face. I don't have makeup on, yada, yada, yada. So, well, I'll make a image and text video with some photographs. That could be like your incentive to get really, really creative, right? Or you're thinking, I can't possibly record today because I have no script ready. So I'll just go live and answer some FAQs in my industry. I've done this so many times on my channel where I'm like, I don't have a scripted video ready, so I can't record, but I can go live. Like there's always something happening in the industry to talk about, right? So aim to just show up and make video creation easier for yourself. Find a way to make it easy so you can actually do the thing. All right. And I do have another example for you. Invoke the 2-minute rule. This is kind of like my favorite one because it says that a new habit should take less than 2 minutes to do. So you could say, today I will record for 1 minute only. Like put a creative constraint on yourself and be like, okay, 1 minute, timer on, go. Okay, I don't have to do a 10-minute video in-depth tutorial. Like just do a 1-minute video. Tomorrow I'll do a 2-minute video. Day after I'll do a 3-minute video, and by the end of the week I'll do a 5-minute video. So starting a habit with the 2-minute rule is a really small, teeny tiny step that you can take today right away, and it's a great sort of small step to start with. And a lot of advocates of creating good habits say that you should start with the 2-minute rule. So that is something that you could do as well. So all of these ideas are just to make video creation easy. Do whatever you need to do to make it easy for yourself and to make it happen. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the actions you take. It's not about you wanting to. It's not about you wishing to. It's not about you hoping to. It's about what you're actually doing. So make it easy, take that action, and get that response. Now we come to the final one, which is make the reward satisfying. So what could this look like? So I am a big stats nerd. So looking at YouTube analytics for me it's so satisfying. So yesterday I was looking at my real-time views and they were the highest that they've been up until today, where I actually reached 4,000 thanks to the live stream that I did yesterday. So really, when I'm looking at these stats and I'm looking at my real-time analytics for the last 48 hours, it is so rewarding and satisfying to see that somebody's on my channel right now watching some of my videos. It just makes that reward really satisfying for me. So if you're a stats nerd like me, hashtag stats nerd, that's something that you would feel is a sense of accomplishment for you as well. Right. The comment section is something else that is very rewarding. So when I get comments like, thank you for sharing your research. It is really motivating to focus on and to continue with my niche. Somebody else wrote, wow, this has been so interesting. I had no idea this was even available. Hello, Salma. Thanks so much. I'm starting to focus in a specific niche, but I found it extremely competitive. I'm so happy I found you, since your information opened my eyes to a whole new world in the healthcare niche. And I love reading comments like this because they directly tie in from my why. Like, why am I creating videos? People are getting motivated. People are getting new information that they didn't even know was available. People are saying that the information I shared opened their eyes to a whole new world. That is the objective. That is what I started out with, right? So instead of having excuses, I'm actually being able to see that my effort is really rewarding. It's really satisfying. Real people are able to solve real problems. So really, you want to tie in and make the reward really satisfying for you. So whatever that looks like for you. And I'm almost at the end of this, by the way, but I want to share with you something. What does a water bottle and an athleisure set have to do with building sticky habits? So I want to give you some examples which are not necessarily video related, right? So one of the habits that I wanted to create was to have more water during the day. And I always forget, and I spend like 4 hours sitting on my desk, and then I realized darn, I'm so thirsty. Like, why didn't I get up and have more water? And ever since, I have started to keep a water bottle full every morning when I sit down to work on my desk. I've been having more water. A small change in my routine has led to the habit of drinking more water. So, this is an example of making the cue obvious. So, something really simple like that has led to me just being more hydrated during the day. And the athleisure set. So, one example that James Clear gives in the book constantly is about, well, if you want to exercise, have your gym clothes laid out in the morning so you're more likely to wear them. And I was like, I don't got gym clothes. I don't have them. So, like, what's my incentive? So, my incentive became, well, order something nice. Order a nice athleisure set for myself. So that's exactly what I did back in December. And I am happy to say that it is helping me exercise more because I love putting it on. It's so comfortable. It's warm because remember I said we're freezing here. And I also bought new shoes to go with it. So really find ways to make your habits sticky using the 4 laws of habit creation that I talked about today. So I would love to hear from you. What's one sticky habit you'd love to build in 2020? Let me know in the comments section. Clearly, I'm not a singer. All right, let's see. Will she read the chat? No, I will not read the chat. I'm going to go straight to where am I going to go? I'm going to go straight to the form. Let's see. Let's check out the form. Let's see if you guys have any questions for me, because that's the place to put. That is the place. Ordering nice active wear so works. Thanks, Denise. I ordered 3 new outfits and I love putting them on, so it works. There you go. I'm not the only one. um, all right. Okay. Why do I always forget where Andrew, help. I keep forgetting how to get to the questions. Why do I always forget this? I know that I am missing a step here. Let me go back in the chat. Habit, always check my lens if it is clear before actually shooting a video. So many times I lost precious footage due to unclear lens. Haha. And there's another one, right? Oh, thanks, Andrew. I was looking for that. Okay, there are a few questions here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Sridhas Foods is asking, I newly joined TubeBuddy and I added suggested tags from TubeBuddy, but I'm still not getting enough views and subscribers. What shall I do to get through? Well, it's a pretty loaded question and also kind of a vague question because I have not seen your channel. And so there are a lot of variables that are going to go into this, but start off with understanding how tags work. So it's not just about adding suggested tags. It's also about having great content. It's also about making sure those tags are relevant for that particular content. It's also about making sure that the video's subject matter is not too competitive for your niche, so you can actually get ranked and get views or get suggested. So there's a lot of variables, but I would say keep trying, keep learning, and keep making videos. Most importantly, that is probably the most important thing to do. All right, Shahid Kazmi, your channel name is Gibran Travels. When can I change my URL address link? So this would be a question for YouTube support. Let's go on. Don V. Filmora Tutorials is asking, do you think uploading once a week is enough? I am a student and sometimes I don't have enough time to create. So is scheduling videos in advance recommended? Absolutely, yes. Scheduling videos in advance is highly recommended if you are short on time or even if you're not short on time. And also batch creating videos is highly recommended, especially if you know you won't be able to get them done on a consistent basis. Try and film more than one video and then release them on a once a week schedule. I do think once a week is good enough. It kind of depends. If you are in the education niche, once a week is good enough. More might be a little bit better in the beginning as you're trying to get started, because it just gives your audience more opportunities to discover you. But yes, once a week is a good initial starting point. And if that's what you can manage, then go ahead and do that. Action Hannah 55 is asking, how do I plan out my time to make videos if I have other commitments? So Action Hannah, there is really no ambiguity about this. Video making has to be a priority if you want to do it. And if it's not a priority, be honest with yourself and say, well, you know what? I don't have time to do this and I am not going to make time for this. But if it is a priority, you're going to tell yourself, you know what? I will make time for this. And then once you make it a priority and you decide that you want to make time for this, then the next thing to do is to make a production calendar, and you put in all the tasks that you need to do to get that video out on your calendar, and you block that time. So if you need 30 minutes for scripting, if you need an hour for SEO, if you need, some minutes to set up your equipment, you need an hour to film, all of those add up. Those time chunks, you want to put them on your calendar and make sure that you're not doing anything else at that time. All right, next question is from Sir Potato Joe. What do you do when you have no ideas for videos? You go and you watch my video on how to come up with content ideas. Tons of ideas on how to come up with content ideas. So go and search for that on my YouTube channel. Alrighty, next question is by Lucky Stars Toys Review. My question is how to improve a kids channel and how to get subscribers. After the new YouTube rules, we cannot go to kids live chat. We cannot write a comment to promote our channel. So please, what should we do with our channel? I typically don't advise kids channels, but from what I do know is that a lot of kids channels are exploring their own assets, and they are still creating YouTube videos, but they're focusing more on promoting on their own websites and promoting through their email and that kind of stuff. So it really pays to build your own assets online where you control what happens and you're not at the mercy of third-party social media, which is all the social media networks. You don't control them. They can change their rules anytime. So you've got to build your own email list and your own website from day one to make sure that you have control. So that's what I would recommend for you to do right away, as soon as you can. All right, the next question is by Cats Does YouTube. How to stick out as a gamer and what steps to take while making the video and uploading would you recommend? So again, I typically work with business channels. So I'm going to say pass on this question because I'm not the best person to answer for gaming. Andy is saying, if you have a video from about a year ago which is no longer getting views, would you recommend going back and changing the thumbnail if it's terrible? Or would you write the video off and continue to focus on future videos? Or would you change that thumbnail in the hope that it gets traction in the future? So there is no harm in going back and changing the metadata or changing the thumbnail for a video that is not performing anymore. You literally don't have any negative side effects of that. So go ahead and do that. And if it still doesn't perform, you're not any worse off. So go ahead and change up whatever you can, especially if you've got better ideas or if you've improved in some way, go ahead and apply those improvements to past videos. So an absolute yes in terms of going back and improving things. Okay, I think we're done with the questions. All right, so what I'm going to say is that I'm going to let you know about the TubeBuddy podcast once again. So the link to to hear the podcast, it's the Women of YouTube podcast. The link is in the description. And that is the podcast that is hosted by TubeBuddy and Desiree. And it features a ton of amazing female YouTube video creators that you can learn from, get inspired by, get motivated by. So I highly encourage you to go check that out. And the other thing that I would want to let you know is that everything that I discussed in the presentation today, like my Facebook group, or the video content plan that helped me get more consistent with videos, or the book that I talked about, Atomic Habits, I've dropped in links to everything in the description. You guys have been an amazing audience. Thank you so much for joining this particular live stream. And stay tuned to the TubeBuddy channel for amazing content and for more great live streams. This has been so much fun for me. I hope to see you again next time. If you have any questions after the live stream has ended, I'll check back in, so you can make sure to leave your comments in the comments section, and I'll come back here and try and answer for you. So take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye from me.